Welcome to Real Estate Radio Live, an informative and engaging podcast discussing everything you need to know about the world of real estate. Your host, Mike D'Ambrosio, provides you with insight and guidance on how to buy, sell, finance, and invest in real estate and much, much more. And now, to guide you around the world of real estate, here's your host, Mike D'Ambrosio.
Welcome into Real Estate Radio Live, the podcast series. I'm Mike D'Ambrosio, real estate professional and your host. We hope you are enjoying our new podcast format. And it's the same great information and education you guys are accustomed to with the benefit of minimal commercial interruptions. It's Tim's first... this isn't your first podcast, is it?
I think so.
I think you've been on a couple.
I don't know.
Anyways, Tim, the Termite guy, is in studio today. One of our wonderful sponsors, Taps Termite. And, if you aren't freaked out about how much deferred maintenance you have in your house so far, then you're going to even be more freaked out after today. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you. Tim will make you feel good. But before we get to that, you can download the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, or you can go to RERadiolive.com. You can make sure to get our app, the RE Radio Live app, in the iTunes store, and follow the show, rate the show, give us some reviews and feedback. And for all things real estate, don't hesitate to reach out. You go to my website, MikeDSells.com. You can go and email me, Mike@RERadiolive.com, or text in or call in 408-630-0101. And again, huge shout out to our sponsors, Starburst Construction and Taps Termite. Taps is on the show today, and Tim's drinking is that your special water or what? You want to give a plug about that or?
Well, you can if you want.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Actually, what I actually drink is alkaline water, which has become a big deal for a lot of people. A lot of people have been hearing about it. Most people think I'm in my 50s, and I'm actually almost 64 years old.
There you go. I thought you were going to say, people think you're in your 30s. And then you're...
No, I wasn't going to push it. Although somebody did say that once. But they were one of the people with deferred maintenance, and they were hoping for a better termite report.
There you go. All right, very good. So talk about, we got a lot to get to today, so give your background. I mean, a lot of people that have listened to the show for years have heard you before, but, you've been in the termite business a long time, so give us your background and about Taps, too.
Okay, well, I'm a local person. I grew up in the Santa Cruz Mountains, born in San Jose, currently reside in San Jose. Been in the termite business 46 years, so I've seen it all. I've watched the valley transform 3 or 4 times, so now it's just really amazing. So that's pretty much it. Yeah.
And Taps Termite, so you've been in the business, and Taps Termite's located in San Jose, and you guys work with, I know you because I'm a real estate agent, and you work with a lot of real estate agents, but what most people don't, you work with homeowners directly, too, and we'll talk about that.
And the cities and county as well. We do a lot of work for... Well, not a lot now because there's a program, but anyway, it's another thing. But, yeah, so we do work for a lot of condominium associations. Any of you folks live in condominiums or townhouses or developments like that, we actually specialize in doing that. We're doing 2 really big complexes to fumigate them, which is the tenting, the circus tent. That's going to happen next year. So, yes, we do, a lot of different stuff. Yeah. I even do antique cars.
Oh, all right. There you go.
Wooden car. A lot of the old wooden cars get termites and beetles in them. So yeah, I've fumigated many of those over the years.
Didn't you treat one of my uncle's desks or something like that?
Yeah, I went up and helped them. We're laughing about that. I've actually known Mike's family for a long time, even before, but we didn't know it till later. But anyway, his uncle wouldn't trust anybody but me to go up and look at it. So I had to drive up to his uncle's house and look at it. And it was a really neat. It was a really neat burl desk.
What type of wood was it? Do you remember? My other uncle is a really good wood.
Yeah, your
worker.
Uncle made it for him. Yeah, it was beautiful. The thing was gorgeous.
It's huge. It's a huge desk.
Yeah, it was beautiful, but
and termites in it.
I almost looked like, I don't remember now if it was, I don't want to say it was walnut, but I don't think it was. But it was like a hardwood. It wasn't redwood, I don't think.
Yeah.
But it might have been. I don't remember.
So you spot treated or what?
No, your uncle did. he couldn't wait for me. He just wanted to make sure he treated it right. So when I'm there, he's spraying the heck out of this desk, and I'm like, no, you got to move this.
See, that's full
funny.
Service there for you, Taps Termites.
Yeah, so we see it all.
That's funny. Yeah, definitely. So speaking of that, you were just before we got onto the show, you were talking about property, in Los Gatos you guys have been working on, and so talk about that as an example. Maybe is this a deferred maintenance example? I mean, what happened with this place? What
it looks like originally, it was an older home in Los Gatos, and they redid the deck, and they put what we call Last America. It's like a deck coating. It's like a plastic that you put on wood. And it looks like it was wasn't flashed off properly and or sealed properly and all that. So the water had been leaking in the wall for I don't know how long. But it looked like somebody had worked on it probably when they did that repair. So when we opened it up, there was a lot of damage that had been covered over and then got worse, obviously, because of the water leaking, because it wasn't sealed up properly. So what the guys are doing right now is opening up so we see just how bad it really is. Then probably in the next day or two, we'll go get a building permit because that's required. So, yes, we do get building permits, as you know.
Yeah.
It's required. I mean, a lot of people don't do it, but it protects people. Like in this case, if they maybe had a building permit, it may or may not have stopped it. I don't know, because I don't know how long it's been like that or leaking. Mm-hmm. But, the thing is a lot of times people see something, they just go, oh, it doesn't look that bad. But as you know, there's a lot of concealed damage in the walls and things like that. So until you really open it up, you don't always know.
So what do you say to someone that's kind of freaked out about that? Because people just want to pretend like, nothing's going on. But I mean, how do you ease that worry, I guess?
Well, I tried to sell them one of my new cave homes up in the Santa Cruz Mountains. So up there you will never have termites.
That's right.
That's not going over really well because there's not indoor plumbing or anything like that. No, I'm kidding. The thing is it's funny because people react differently for different things. Sometimes the people I think are going to be just totally just go crazy or like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. And other people, they almost have a meltdown. So, you try to walk them through it. You try to tell them what they can do to prevent it. Obviously, you don't want to fix something and they go right back and cause the same problem again, although I have seen it happen. I did a almost $35,000 job in Cambrian years ago, and I had to go back about 3 months later, and the place was really filthy to begin with. But anyway, we did all this work on it, and the bathroom, there was already starting to cause damage to it.
Yeah.
We'd retiled all the bathroom and had redone it, but they didn't take care of it like I told them, and it just, So if you don't maintain it, you're going to have a problem.
Yeah. So let's talk about that preventative maintenance. I mean, so that maybe they don't have to see you guys as often as they want. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, preventative, obviously, the best prevention is having it inspected periodically. Every year is the best. Every 2 years you can get by with. But one of the things you have to do is you have to be a little bit proactive, too, is if you see something, don't sit there and go, well, I'll just vacuum it up or I'll put a rug over it and I can't see it anymore. That doesn't really work well. But, the thing with termites, they can come in pretty much at any time. But like water damage, leaks, roof leaks, a lot of those things can be corrected fairly quickly. But if you let them go, then obviously you're going to have more damage. But if you let it go, the termites can also come in, and then you have even more damage. So, a lot of times, a little problem can turn into a big problem if you ignore it. So, just like not going to the doctor, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
The doctor tells people all the time, well, if you come 6 years earlier, or a year, or 5 months, whatever it is, we probably could have caught this. Now, same thing with the house.
Yeah, because you could equate termites almost like cancer eating away at your house, essentially. I mean,
pretty much.
That's really what it is. So, what major things do you see on a daily basis that people could have done differently to prevent major termite damage? I mean, is there a common theme throughout the homes that you look at?
Well, yeah, because a lot of times, I go to a home, let's say, for example, we'll get a phone call, the staff get it, and they'll set it up, and we'll go out and look at it. One of the first questions I ask them is, have you ever had a termite inspection? Yeah, 35 years ago when I bought it. So what's going to be wrong? Who knows? And for some reason, people think I'm psychic. But if I was, I'd pick 6 numbers, and I wouldn't be on this podcast.
Exactly.
I'd be doing a podcast somewhere in Europe right now.
That's right. You would. You have a cocktail in your hand.
That's right. I'd be sitting there, and I'd probably be in Monaco right now playing baccarat in a tuxedo.
Go. Nice. I like it.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, you thought a lot about that.
Yeah. Oh, I have. That 007 thing. I even have the car. But anyway, yeah, so, that's the thing is a lot of times people don't, they ignore it, and you just can't. I mean, you have to at least find out. And if you live in a home, if you live in a house more than about 5 years and you haven't had an inspection, you really should.
Yeah.
If it's more than 5, anything over 5 and 10, you really don't know, because you could have leaks, you could have all kinds of problems.
Yeah.
That you just don't realize are going on unless people crawl around underneath their house and in the attic and check the outside and all the other stuff. And as you know, you've been on enough inspections with us, you know what we look for.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff to look for. It's
absolutely
not, the bad thing about termites is don't jump out in front of you and go, hey, here we are.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit of detective work to find them. So
no, you guys were out at a listing I have coming up today, and there's you guys, and then the home inspector was there. He says hi, by the way, Thompson. Do you know him? Yeah, he said he's a goofy guy, funny guy, but I like him. And everyone, they were just kind of going back and forth and doing all their things, and there's a lot of action that happens within that inspection time. So it was pretty interesting to see those guys interact.
Well, sometimes I think we scare people too, because when we're talking in lingo, I was like, "Oh, did you see this, that, or whatever?"
Yeah.
And sometimes the client overhears you, and you kind of see them looking at you weird, and then you have to kind of alleviate their fear and just go, "Oh, no, we're just, whatever," and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or we're walking around just going, "Oh no," yeah, because sometimes we get into some homes that the people just destroy them. I mean, and then they want to argue with them about it. Well, it's not that bad. It's like, I'm not going to stand over in that corner. I'll fall through. I've actually done that before, where it was so rotted. The damage was so bad that actually happens. Yeah, it happens.
Would you say more damage is caused by actual termite damage, or it's mainly the water-related issues are more damaging to a home?
Dry rot's probably, especially like leaky toilets and showers, but then you can also get termites combined with that, so it can accelerate the damage as well. So, it's kind of hard to say what, because I see damage on both, and stuff like that. It's just, it's normal. It's just what happens.
Okay. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break. Tim, the termite guy, is in studio today. Tim with Taps Termite, our wonderful sponsor of RE Radio Live. Stick around. We'll be right back on the other side of the break.
For more information on today's program, visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com. Do you know Mike D'Ambrosio, reputable real estate professional in the Silicon Valley? He was born and raised here in Silicon Valley. He's very excited to be working in a geographic area that he loves and knows well. He firmly believes that this is the best place to live in the entire country. He specializes in Bay Area real estate. Are your family's needs changing? Are your parents in need of changing living conditions? Are your children first-time home buyers? Do you just want to expand your income revenue stream through real estate investments? He would be happy to meet with you and discuss your options while explaining the advantages of using his team to expand your opportunities of owning real estate in the Bay Area. He's dedicated to providing you quality, honesty, and creativity in every real estate transaction. He's highly recommended by many for his attention to his clients' needs and by making sure that your experience is as enjoyable and as painless as possible. Real estate transactions are not small tasks, and that's why they should be done efficiently, smartly, and as thoroughly as possible. That's his promise to you. Whether you're buying or selling, let him put his expertise and experience to work for you and make your transaction a smooth and enjoyable one. The time is now. Don't let another opportunity slip by. Call him directly at 408-630-0101. Email Mike at MikeDSells.com or visit his website, MikeDSells.com. Cal BRE number 0184192. Welcome back to Real Estate Radio Live. For more information on today's topic or guests, just visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com. Again, your host for today's edition of Real Estate Radio Live, Mike D'Ambrosio.
Welcome back in. This is Mike D'Ambrosio on Real Estate Radio Live, the podcast series, and we're in studio today with Tim Denner, the termite guy with Taps Termite, one of our wonderful sponsors of Real Estate Radio Live. Taps Termite serving the Bay Area for how long now?
Since 1969.
Yeah, long time. So really good company and well respected, well known. Obviously I work around a lot of real estate people, and just a well respected company within the real estate community and also on the homeowners. So let's talk about that, the whole process now, and now that you've scared the crap out of our listeners, and they're wondering if their house is going to fall down around them tomorrow. No, I'm just kidding. But so what is the process now that you can walk these guys through if they are thinking there's something going on or they just haven't done an inspection for a long time? I mean, how does it all work? Okay.
Well, the first thing you have to remember too is this inspection, there's no obligation. We've got a few different types of inspections that we can actually do on the home, and the staff will explain that to you a little bit more in detail if you call. But the first thing to do would be obviously call the office, talk to one of my staff that they can set up an inspection with one of us to come out, look at what your concerns are, depending on what you really want. A lot of times people just know they have termites. They just want us to come out and do what we call limited, just come out and say, yes, it's termites. But there are different types of termites, so a lot of times people think they need to fumigate, and they may not. It may just entail treating the soil for another type of termite. So the other thing, too, is there's different types of termites, so unless you really know, you need to have one of us look at it. So in other words, we'll schedule the inspection. One of us would come out, depending on what we're going to do. But in a normal inspection, for example, I'm going to do like a real estate one because it's a little bit more in-depth than what we normally do. Mm-hmm. We check all the outside of the house, check all the interior of the house, check the attic, and then go underneath the home if it has a crawl space, check everything out, type up a detailed report with estimates of any repairs that may need to be done. Now, some of the things we may not do, but we can do, because I have other people I work together with. So let's say somebody's wanting to change something around, whatever, and I may have somebody I work with on that. So we can do a lot of the things like that. But then what we'll do is we'll email. Most of the reports go out by email anymore, but we'll email you the report, for example. You'll read through it. Your estimates are there. Like I tell people, not too many people in 46 years, I've actually never had anybody wake up and went, wow, I hope I get to meet Tim, the termite guy, and I have termites. So if you want to be the first one, that'd be really cool. Won't get you much, but it'll get a big smile out of me.
How did they get reports out back when you first started? By horseback? Or
pretty much.
Okay.
We had carrier pigeons and smoke signals.
Okay. Got it.
Oh, you get, well, it's just like, way before your time, your dad would remember this, I know, but back when I started in real estate and in the business, when you wanted to see a house, you had what we called the yellow book, and before that, there were pages you had to cut out.
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh, so you see, yeah.
No, I've heard about them. And then Brian, our manager, the manager of our office, he was talking about how like not even that long ago, when he was selling like maybe 15, 20 years ago, high-end flyers were considered where you'd glue on the pictures and use the, it's like. Like you actually, it sounded like an art project, but like that was like the high end of, now it's just so easy, but.
That's originally what we called cut and paste.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so, the old days the reports were, oh God, some of them were 7 carbon. It was just, and the other thing too is the flashlights were nothing like we have now.
Yeah.
I mean, these new flashlights are just ridiculous in how bright they are. So we can see a lot better.
Yeah.
Farther away and stuff like that, which has been good. But yeah, technology, the inspection itself really hasn't evolved much because the house is a house is a house, where a lot of the other technologies have. Now, there is, you mentioned property inspectors. One property inspector has a remote control truck that's built, I think, back in, they're very expensive to kind of drive around underneath the house, but it doesn't work in every situation, because it can drive into a sewer ditch or get stuck underneath the heating duct or whatever.
Yeah.
So it comes usually right down to, having an inspector look at it. Like I said, the people are under no obligation. It's basically just an opinion of what we see when we're there. But at least that way you have an idea of what and then usually what we do, depending on how much damage there is, I usually lay out a game plan for people. It's like, okay, this is your most important thing. This you could do next year and that. I call it building a railroad. And the reason I do it that way is when I do that, my phone rings all year long throughout the years, because people know in a year or two they're going to be calling to get that repair done. Well, the guys are working, so.
Well, and they know you're trustworthy too. Like I'm sure there's people out there listening that are thinking to themselves like, well, an inspector could just go out and put all this stuff on the report, and I might not necessarily need to do it. So, I mean, what do you say? What do you say to that? I mean,
okay, well, number one, like I tell people, if I can't show you or someone that you trust then obviously it can't be there. So we always have extra coveralls generally, so people can do that. Although most of the time the stuff's pretty visible. And 9 times out of 10 when people call, it's usually something they've seen.
Yeah.
Inside the house or outside, or they're painting or the painter's out painting, and all of a sudden he comes in and goes, "Oh, you have termites in your roof eaves. I just hit it with the paintbrush and a piece of wood disintegrated." And sometimes it could be just dry rot too, which could be caused from a roof leak. So the biggest thing is find out what you really, really do have, and then go from there. Yeah. And the other thing too, you can always get a second opinion. Like I said, you're under no obligation. So, and you always get other opinions on the repairs as well, or anything that's like that. I mean, on the report, it says there, that, if you're not sure. But, most of the time, most people go with us because, all my staff is very courteous, knowledgeable, and all of them. And they're all, and by the same token, Mike also said we also have fun. I mean, people are scared. They don't want to spend the money. We understand that. So you try to eliminate as much of the stress as you can.
Yeah.
And explain to them realistically what they can do. And sometimes they tell people, hey, you know what? You could wait a year or so on this.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, and it's just because it may not be that bad. And there's some things they do to mitigate it. Gives them a chance to save some more money, and/or I'm not a real big proponent on just ripping something out that people don't know what they want to do with it. For example, a bathroom or something like that had damage to it. I mean, yes, we have to recommend to do it, but if they don't really know what they want to do to it, I'd hate to put it back like it was and have them go, man, I wish I'd have done something different. Yeah. Because a lot of people do that. Mm-hmm. Just like we're doing outside repairs. I tell people, drive around the neighborhood, get some ideas. You might want to change the front of the house or the look of it and stuff like that. I was in my neighborhood yesterday morning, and I actually saw a house. I was like, wow, I like that one. It was the same house as mine, but it was just what they had done. So, that's the best way to get ideas.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know you guys are trustworthy. I'm just asking because I'm sure you get that often, like, where there's skeptics out there, of course,
Well, we've got, we've been with Better Business forever, and we have a high rating there.
Yeah.
And then obviously if people go on Yelp and Google us and everything like that, they'll see a lot of the reviews. Angie's List, I think we've got some on there too. Although Angie's has changed a lot of stuff around again, from what I know. My staff, I got somebody in my staff that handles all that.
Yeah.
But so I mean, we have favorable reviews and all the sites and stuff.
So is this process any different? Like, I know we have a lot of business owners that listen to the podcast. So from a commercial standpoint, of people out there with commercial property.
Oh yeah, we do. Yeah, I do a lot of commercial.
So what's the difference with that whole process?
Well, commercial, only thing that's a little bit different is depending on what you really have and or the type of building. Because a lot of them with the drop ceilings and stuff like that, a lot of people think it's all metal when in reality it's not. There's a lot of wood up above that drop ceiling, like here, for example.
Yeah.
Right here in the studio, right above us, there's probably termites eating as we speak. That's one thing too. People don't realize termites are all over the valley. I mean, it's and they don't care if you're rich or poor.
Yeah,
they do not care. I even had a lady one time look at me when I was a kid and go, "Young man, I don't know what you're doing here, but this is a $250,000 house. House now is worth about $8 million. So I'll give you an idea what the house was." So I looked at her and went, "Wow, there really are people like that." Yeah. She really thought because they were rich that they did not. There's no way they'd have termites. So we fumigated.
That's good.
So it's just, and that's the thing is but commercial, same thing. You can have all the same problems and even sometimes more so in some areas because of the way some commercial buildings are built. A lot of them have rooftop air conditioning, which, a lot of times, depending on how, that water, and things like it's like anything else. It's just knowing that. But we do a lot of, matter of fact, I just did, big commercial over in Campbell, about 2 weeks ago.
Okay. So, with the commercial though, I mean, do you even fumigate those types of buildings too sometimes?
Yeah.
Or
sure.
okay,
sure.
Wow.
Yeah, we fumigate. Yeah, the thing is you can put, you can clip those tarps together a lot and make a huge, do a huge building. I mean, hotels, motels, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then the other question I wanted to ask you was, a lot of people, obviously termites eat wood, right? And I mean, are they ever going to figure out how to make, I know they've done properties with metal framing and that type of thing. Is that ever going to become cost effective enough for them to start building houses like that? Because even you alluded to it earlier in the show, like even if you have a house that's a couple of years old or something, you could get termites already.
It'd be brand new.
Yeah, I mean, so are they ever going to figure out a way? I mean, obviously you still wouldn't be out of business because it's not really just termites you look at, it's wood destroying pests. So you have all sorts of things, but with termites alone, which seems to be like the bigger culprit, are they ever going to figure that out? Or, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Truthfully, I actually had a guy ask me that one time. He goes, "So Tim, are you worried about all the places now being built, out of metal?" And I started laughing. I said, "No, not really." And I just kind of waved my arm around his neighborhood. He goes, "Oh, I see what you mean." The truth of the matter is we have so many homes built here that, we really have to almost replace them with wood. The metal's not going to, because they weren't designed in a lot of ways for that. But yeah, they're using metal more and more. But then again, it's, I don't know if it's ever going to be, not right away, probably not in my lifetime. I mean, truly, it's just like cars. I mean, if somebody told us, 20, 30 years ago there'd be hybrids and all that,
yeah.
I can remember because, obviously I'm a little older, but I can remember when the big three used to say, "There's no way we can get 20 miles a gallon."
Yeah.
Yeah. Now they're all bragging about 99. I mean, granted, it's gas. But yeah, so I mean, and the building dynamics have changed a lot too. I mean, we don't really have single families being built here unless it's a custom home. So a lot of the newer stuff is more metal. So yeah, that changes that. But then you have a whole different dynamic there because if there is wood in that unit somewhere, and potentially termites can get into it, then yeah, it's, as a matter of fact, there's a little house over by my office over on the east side, and they built the whole house out of metal, and I was like, oh wow, and I watched them build it. It took them forever. So I don't know if it was because it was metal, it took longer, or they were just slow. Yeah. I don't know for sure which, because it was the only one I've ever really been able to watch. Yeah. So before they put the walls up, I noticed they put in wooden stairs.
Oh, really? There you go.
True story. But everything else, as near as I could tell, was metal.
Interesting.
So yeah. So I think, like anything else, technology, especially here, is always, I mean, it's a challenge for all you people out there that are working in tech. There's a golden opportunity to come up with, the next greatest building material and or even, a preventative for termites. Subterranean, we have baits and things, but drywoods they're still working on, but we really don't have it. And just Mike had talked about a new house. A lot of times people go, "What's a brand new house?" Or, termites can get in a lumber yard. I mean, that's just, it's still wood. So right. It's funny, but I think most people think there's like this magic dome over it because it's brand new wood. And a lot of times the wood's infested when a home's built even sometimes.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say a lot of times, but it can happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, so it just is what it is. But it'd be interesting to see. But yeah, metal has done a lot, but metal's not new. Metal's been around in commercial for a lot of years.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, absolutely.
So,
well, good stuff. Well, we ran out of time, but if they want to reach out to Taps Termite, how can they do that?
Give us a call at 408-259-5900.
I know that one. It's a good number. Yeah. All right, Tim, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, and you all have a good day.
Yes, you too. Thanks for tuning in. You can go to my website, MikeDsells.com, for more information on Taps Termite, or you can go to TapsTermite.com and 408-259-5900. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Have a great week.
You've been listening to Real Estate Radio Live. For more information on today's program, visit RERadiolive.com. That's RERadiolive.com. Subscribe to our podcast. Discover more at RERadiolive.com.